Hi guys, Joseph here from Intellect Finance. Welcome back. And if you're new to this channel, it's great having you join us. Today we're meeting up with Anthony from Nehme Developments to talk to us about pre-purchase building reports and how it could make or break your property purchase, possibly saving you a fortune. Anthony, welcome. Thanks for taking time out of your day to come and see us.
My pleasure, thank you.
Please have a seat. Thanks for coming in to talk to us about building reports. But firstly, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a licensed builder. I've been in the industry ever since I've left school. I studied construction, and recent years I've been doing a little bit more consultancy work and inspections, pre-purchase inspections, building works, all the necessary stuff that a building license entitles you to do.
So tell us, Anthony, why should somebody do a building report before they buy a property?
There's a couple of reasons why people do the reports. Some of them are they have to do it because the banks need a pre-purchase report done, and overall the most important reason why is so they have a peace of mind. They understand exactly what they're buying, and they see if there's any defects, they find any problems with the house, they know what they're buying, because buying a house is probably the biggest investment you ever make in your life. So you want to make sure that you've done your due diligence and you understand exactly what you're buying.
What kind of issues have you seen? I mean,
look, there's the standard cosmetic issues. You know, there's cosmetic things like finishes, paints and doors and bumps and bruises, like we say, but there's some structural things that the normal average Joe wouldn't know about, like movement, structural movement, piers, subfloor defect, rising damp in some properties, depending on certain areas too, poor ventilation in subfloor areas, in sub-roof areas as well. The things that you wouldn't notice if you're not specialised in that. If you're not a builder, you won't know anything about it.
I actually have had one of my clients do a building report, and then there were some defects on the property, and they actually used that report to negotiate the price down. So it can be a positive in that way as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Especially with the recent years, a lot of people are doing that.
Yes, yeah. I should actually talk to my viewers about when's the building report done. So we usually, if it's a standard purchase, let's say a sale rather than an auction, you can put a holding deposit down, and usually you get a 5-day cooling off period before you got to pay the 10% deposit. So in that 5-day period, you can actually do your building inspection. Then the bank can also value the property. The solicitors check the contracts. So in that 5-day cooling off period, which can be extended to 10 days, subject to the agent and the vendor accepting that. Yeah, sometimes I noticed that the agents actually do a building report before they list the property for sale, and they're up front with the defects. And
yeah, they give a bit of an incentive, I guess. Instead of every individual or potential buyer getting his own report done, they might just they take it upon themselves to do the report, and then anyone that's serious about the house will pay that little fee, because if you once you've paid for the report, to make a copy and send it to somebody else is a smaller fee than the original cost of the report, see? So what they'll do is they have that availability for them, incentive for people, make life a bit easier. And then what it also shows is that the seller isn't hiding anything. So if he's willing to have that report there for the person, like for the buyers, for the potential buyers, it's available to them. It gives them a bit more peace of mind.
Yeah, it does.
With the property.
I actually prefer that, being upfront about if there is any issues with the property.
That's right.
They know about it straight away, and it saves time actually too, because the report. How long does it take you to do a building report?
Mate, it depends on the size of the house. You know, a few hours. There's a few hours in it at least. You got to have at least.
That's for the inspection.
Yeah, there's an hour and a half inspection to go through things thoroughly, depending on the size of the property.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple of hours in paperwork, 2-3 hours at home. You know, or in the office, putting everything together.
Yeah.
So it's and look, as we were saying before too, look, there's different things with the building reports too. Some people are building inspectors. They're not builders. They're not licensed builders. I'm a licensed builder. So my eye is more of a builder's eye. The building inspectors, they go and do whatever, I don't know how long the course is, it's a real simple course just to be an inspector, and they come in, it's very cosmetic. So any areas that they don't access underground, and it says it's noted all in their disclaimers. You know, a lot of the reports have this in the disclaimer. It shows that we didn't access this part of the house, we didn't access that part of the house. But when you're not a licensed builder, you're not looking at it as a builder. You're not looking at the structural items. You know, you can't give proper advice in how to fix things because you don't know. But when you're a builder, you know how to fix things. So you say, all right, there's a bit of rising damp, poor ventilation, I do this and that. And they always want to call back and ask us, what do you think we can do? How do we fix this? Oh, you fix it this way, you can do this, you can do that. You insert a couple of vents for ventilation, a bit of cross flow ventilation, and it might cost you that much money. And like we were saying, they go back to the seller and they go, there's a little issue here, it's going to cost us 5-10 grand, we want to take that off the price.
And that's the negotiation between the vendor and the purchaser.
Yeah. With the reports, the downside to the real estate agent getting his own report is they generally use the same inspector, and it tends to be sometimes biased. So they have an influence.
Relationship between the agent and the
because
person
what's not the report. A report basically is what's stated in the report is shown, but whatever's not stated in the report is unknown. So it's very easy to not say something or not touch on something or be vague.
Are people better off getting their own building inspection done rather than relying on
You're
the
always
agents?
better off going with somebody that you trust.
It is a big investment and it's a small payment in comparison to how much you're spending on buying a property.
Of course, yeah. Look, the other thing is too, a lot of people go around and have a look at multiple properties, so it can add up. If they're going to be doing multiple inspections, it goes from a small investment to being a costly thing.
I think, but they've got to hone it down to the property that they want to buy. And then once they've found that property, that's why I love sales rather than auctions, because then you can lock it in. You've negotiated the price, you put that whole, which is the 0.25% deposit down.
Yep.
So it's not a 10%, so you're not outlaying that much money. Then you do your building report rather than, I mean, I don't recommend people doing an inspection on every single house they're going to go and check out.
Yeah.
Rather than when they've made that selection and they're definitely going to buy, they've negotiated the price, paid the holding deposit, then that's when I think they should be doing the building inspection.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Anthony, what about pest control?
With pest control, with our reports, we do building and pest report, pre-purchase report, building and pest. What I do is I bring in my pest control guy to do his own report. It's a bit more comprehensive. He puts a bit more detail to it. And then what happens is with his report, I go through his report and it reflects my report too. So I work with his report to understand, for instance, you get into a section, you see a bit of mold or dampness, and then you might note there might be a bit of termite activity or there might be a bit of pesticide issue in that part of the house. So you can relate between those two reports. But some of these inspections that are happening now with these inspectors, they do the same thing. So they go and do the inspection. It's a 1 hour inspection. They write up a report and they give you a pest control report, but the disclaimer covers everything. So it's like the same report. I've read a few of these reports. It's the same report for each property.
They just copy and paste.
Yeah, so you see every pest control, every pest report says the same thing. Oh, the termite, there could be termite activity. There could be this and that, and they give you advice for some maintenance. You got to follow up maintenance, and if you don't get your house treated every year, it voids the report anyway. So you got to be very careful with the disclaimers.
Yeah. So basically, we should be doing in that 5-day cooling off period, the building report and the pest.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And look, generally speaking, as a builder, maintenance is very important in every property. Maintenance, building maintenance, pest maintenance. You need to get your house sprayed. You need to get it inspected every year. You got to make sure you don't have termites, because anything that you can identify in the early stages is going to save you a lot of money. Because if it blows out, if it gets bigger, that's where the big big items come in. It could be as small as a wet area silicon peeling, or the silicon's not done right, or the grouts come out. You know, those little things grow into bigger problems.
Yeah, even their new homes, they require maintenance as well, a certain level of maintenance. Yeah,
Of course. I think the new homes more than the older homes, to be honest with you.
that's true.
The way things are getting built now, you know, it's ridiculous.
Hey, is there? I just wanted to ask you: is there a difference between, say, a commercial property and a residential property in what you would do in your building inspection?
Of course, when a commercial property, you're not going to have bedrooms. In regards to kitchens, you might have a kitchenette instead of a full kitchen in there. In regards to fire and that, there's a couple of different things with smoke detectors. So depending on the size of the commercial property, they might require a sprinkler system. You know, it all depends on what size, what scope we're working off. But
so the regulations basically on the commercial property,
of course,
they're completely different to what the residential, and so you've got to look at different things basically.
With commercial properties, it could be a factory unit, it could be made out of tilt-up. It's all concrete and structural steel holding it together. The integrity of the steel, the bolts, the fixings, the welds, cracking on welds. There's a lot of fire-rated areas. Sometimes there's a fire retardants, painted areas with fire retardant, sometimes sprayed fire retardants in exposures, in indents in the slab or in the mezzanines.
Yeah.
Little things that we look at, penetrations. These are all identifying factors.
What about like offices? I mean,
Like on a mezzanine we're talking about?
say an office like this one.
Yeah, but with the office, you look sometimes in offices like this with the false ceiling, sometimes we see staining in the false ceiling itself, and then that generally comes from moisture that's accumulated from a leaking, maybe ducted, or sometimes leaking roof that comes through the building into your level, or the level that we're inspecting, and a lot of those issues generally come from penetrations that have leaked, penetrations in the roof.
Yeah.
So that's where we go back to maintenance. It's very important that people maintain their roofs, maintain penetrations. We've done a lot of jobs where we've come in, we've had to cut out all the penetrations and reseal them and apply that adhesive, retardant, bitumen, silicons, whatever it may be, just to make sure that it's enclosed and watertight.
So I wanted to ask you, Tony, so how would, say, my clients know the difference between a building inspector that's actually got building experience rather than just a building inspector that doesn't have the thorough knowledge that, say, you would have?
I think basically it's very simple. You just ask for the qualifications. And generally speaking, you check up a business name, a license check. You look on somebody's website, inspector's license, in opposed to builder's license.
So that's a key.
So, yeah.
If they've got a builder's license, then they're going to have the experience and knowledge that an average.
I'm not saying that there's building inspectors out there that don't know what they're talking about. No, look, it's
it's not about what they don't know what they're talking about. It's the detail that you can go into.
It's the detail. It's the expertise. It's what we've been trained in.
Yeah. Tony, just for the benefit of my viewers, where are you based and what areas do you cover?
I'm based in Pitt Street, Sydney. My office is between Martin Place and Circular Quay. We work pretty much Sydney-wide, pretty much most of New South Wales. We've done a few jobs in Melbourne and Queensland.
Oh, okay,
also.
so you go interstate as well.
So yeah, it depends on the size of the job.
Yeah.
Not only are we consultants, I'm a licensed builder, so we do building works, fit-out works in the city, commercial fit-out stuff, remedial works. So our scope is vast. You know, it's big. Whatever, any kinds of works that obviously need to be feasible, profitable. We're happy to engage in consulting works, and it's building and property.
Anthony, that was very insightful. Thank you very much for that. And thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule to come and do this YouTube video of us.
No, thank you, mate. It's a pleasure, and thanks for having me. And we always got time for Joe.
Thanks, Anthony. You're the best.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Wow, that was an eye-opener. This just goes to show how important it is to engage in the right building inspector with experience that ultimately will save you a lot of money and unnecessary heartaches that can last for ages. So if you like, I'll put a link below for Anthony from Nehme Developments for you to contact directly. And I'll also put a link below for Intellect Finance for any of your financial needs. So that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next one. See you guys.
All right, ready? Just wait till the smile goes.
Yeah.
Olha lá, olha ainda calma, moça. Moça's like, I swear, you know when I first walked in, I go, Joe, bring Steven Spielberg here to do that. Because who is it? A little video, Jarras Albi.
That alone is good for the bloopers.
He's going to put that in the bloopers.
I go, what happened?
You're going
I thought I was just going to talk about something in 5 minutes. Shark fins, Spielberg. How can you don't have like blush and makeup? You should Spielberg.
No, because
he likes
we want
natural.
the natural look, man.
It's,
Do I look good?
Yeah, you look beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a nice teacher.
Musa looks like he used to star in Seinfeld.
Sorry.
It's
I
just
love
really
your
a
work,
lot of
Tony. I
experience.
love your work, man. That's just beautiful.
Thanks,
That's
mate.
music to my ears.
You're a beautiful looking man.
No.
If your inspector doesn't sing Arabic, don't use him. So, Joe, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Listen to the way he says it.
Could be.
بشروني.
Yeah.
كوبي يا حبيب قلبي.
You know when you're making it, if it doesn't turn out, you know what you do?
What?
Good bit.
كوبي.
Yeah.